Hello, everyone. We are transitioning from the Italian session to the English session. I will give a couple of more minutes if somebody else will join.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Feel free to turn on your camera to say hi.
Okay, hello.
And maybe where are you from?
So I'm from the Czech Republic. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So
Hi.
it's nice to see you.
Welcome.
Hi.
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 Hello,
So-
I'm from Slovenia. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Thank
Hi,
you.
welcome.
Hi. I'm Francesca. Nice to see you.
Hello. Ivona, we cannot hear you. I see you're talking, but I cannot hear you.
And now?
Yes. Hi.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi from South Tyrol.
Hello there. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Herzlich willkommen an alle. Hola.
Herzlich willkommen. Hola.
Du bist von aus Trento, oder?
Eigentlich nicht. Ich bin aus in der Nähe von Venedig.
Ah, Venedig, also in der Nähe. Okay.
Ja. Hört man von meinem Akzent oder was?
Hatte ich eine Ahnung.
But hello, everyone. So this session it's been recorded, and sorry. Okay. It's been recorded. So if you don't agree with that, from now on, just remove yourself from the camera, and you won't be there. Good. So, let me introduce myself. My name is Francesca. I think you know that. I am originally Italian, from the north of Italy, a small village, and now I'm speaking from Barcelona. That's where I've been living for a while now, also to set up the training that I will talk to you about in a few minutes. And this session is to introduce the courses, the training that the European Cultural Academy offers, and as well to introduce you to the European program Erasmus+. So I'm sure you've heard about it already. I would ask if there is any participants with an accreditation already. Let me know. And maybe you can also support me to answer some questions at the end, since you have experience. Feel free to write in the chat. The presentation is going to be about 35 minutes. And at the end, there's going to be place for all your questions. As I said, feel free to put it already in the chat, and we're gonna come back at the end of the presentation. Okay, good. So I need a small collaboration from any of you who would confirm, like turn on the sound and confirm that you are going to see my presentation. because once I open it, I cannot see you. Give me 1 second. Please,
Can I
somebody tell me-
working?
Okay, yes, I
Yes,
can see it.
working.
Great.
Okay,
Great.
yes, we can see it.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Good. So, well, I already said who I am. Here, there are my contacts. I'm going to share them also later. Let me introduce the European Cultural Academy. We are a private learning center. We are specialized in teaching through art. We do this, we operate in 3 different branches. We do, as you see here on the left, art courses for professionals and art amateurs. We do architecture courses, specifically summer schools for universities. We have some partnerships around the world for that. And what we will be focusing on today, we have educators courses, is specifically through Erasmus+. So that's why I'm going to combine the 2 today. We are a pretty young organization, I would say, like we established in 2016, and we focus really only on pedagogy through art. So that's our specialty. We don't really do anything else. So maybe you've come across many teacher trainings organization. They do offer anything from media literacy to sport, anything. So we do this. Okay, that's our specialty. And why we do this? Because I believe in the power of education to transform the perception of myself and help both kids, teenagers, and adults thrive creatively and professionally. A lot of words, but what do we mean actually in practice? Like, what do we mean actually with art? Our starting point is that art is accessible for more people than we usually think of. And it's an accessible means of expression, not only for who has been trained since they are 2, or they are particularly talented, but it is a mean for everybody. And why do we think that it's useful to implement this in school education and mobility for teachers and educators? Because we think that art helps a lot to approach soft skills. And how much we hear nowadays about soft skills, but we do think that through arts and creativity, we can go there in a very, very fun way. And also, at the same time, we can learn about local history. We can get better in our verbal and nonverbal communication. We can enhance our critical thinking, and we can do great projects to include also, sorry, if I would request you to mute yourself, please. So there is no noise. Thank you. Exactly. So that's what we see. That's how we see art, and that's how we try to implement it in our training. And by doing that, we want to support and inspire people in their creative journey. And as I said, dismantle whatever borders we have, may them be social, economic, or geographical, using these 2 powerful means, art and education at the same time. And so what we offer training courses for educators and teachers of 6 days duration. And at the moment, we have 3 locations: Amsterdam, Venice, and Barcelona. I put here the names of the 3 main courses, but actually, as you will see in a while, we have actually more than that. But I would like to take the opportunity now to say a few words about Amsterdam, because, you know, when we say art, like, what do we mean? What do we mean with art? Like, which art? So in Amsterdam, we focus on storytelling and theater improvisation. So the structure, the skeleton of all our courses is very similar, but we adapt the focus according to the city where we are. So to give an opportunity to learn, to explore another country, another city, and to connect that circumstances to a field of art in a single course. So we said we have storytelling in Amsterdam. In Barcelona, we have the use of urban spaces. So actually, I will say a few more words on that because that's kind of my baby. I started here and developed the curriculum for that. So we want, everything started by talking to some teachers who were a bit complaining about the fact that they don't have really the chances to bring kids outside of the school, outside of the classroom, and do some activities on the outside. Maybe because they are in a very metropolitan area, maybe because they are in a rural area. So any kind of location can have challenges. And so we decided to offer a course where we can explore different types of actions to do in the city, to bring our kids outside, and to let them explore. And sometimes we hear as well, like, for example, visits on museums are boring, like they are so formal. No, it's difficult to bring kids from primary school to a museum. Okay, and this is why here we collaborate with the 2 museums who offers actually visits and activities specifically for kids. So we want you to get acquainted with those kind of approaches, and hopefully to see you implementing those also with your classes. So that's the idea for Barcelona. For Venice, in Venice, we go more traditionally with visual arts. In Venice, there is the Biennale exhibition. There is Academia, Guggenheim, so very famous museums that we make sure you go and explore and take inspiration from there. Well, I put a couple of pictures of our, some teachers in action on the bottom. You see, we were visiting a foundation here in Barcelona. Some teachers in action on top left while developing their own project here in Barcelona. And the one on top right is our new office in Venice. We have 5 rooms in an ancient palace there. It's a very brand new announcement, let's say. So from now on, all our courses are going to be held there. And in all 3 locations, actually, we have pretty nice inspirational locations. That's part of the journey. As I said, in Venice, an ancient palace. Then in Barcelona, we are in the middle of the Rambla. So for those of you who knows already, Barcelona, quite central, is also in Plaza Real. So also is a very ancient palace with like very focused area. Like it's quite central. It can be quite loud normally, but we make sure we have a safe space to develop your ideas. And in Amsterdam, we collaborate. We have multiple locations. We collaborate with the university, but actually from now on, our courses will be held in a creative center. So it's a huge building with a lot of space for normally artistic residencies or artist hubs. And so we do collaborate with them. So it will be quite in the middle of the artistic scene in Amsterdam. Let me show here a course catalog overview of what we had, and let me explain how this is structured. So you see here we have 3 locations on top: Venice, Amsterdam, and Barcelona. And in vertical, you see the languages. we have at the moment English, Italian, and French. We're open to courses also in other languages if we have the minimum of 12 participants. And we're very happy to do so. Actually, I'm counting on doing that by 2024 in Spanish in Barcelona. So if you are a Spanish teacher, please let me know, and let's see how we can work on that. So I explained what we have in Amsterdam, Barcelona, right? Urban spaces in Barcelona and storytelling in Amsterdam. As you see, in Venice, there's a longer list. Why? Because there we diversified a bit the offer. For example, we have the teaching and learning through art. That's our basis course with visual arts, based on visual arts, what I was telling you before. Then we have a course here, the first one on the left, creative and digital. So how we approach the problem of digitalization. That's more the focus there. Then we have European cultural heritage, explore Venice, that I would recommend more for maybe art teachers, history teachers, and creativity for teacher of foreign language, that is specific for English teachers, well, language teachers in general. We have improve your English with creative tools. This is for those of you or your colleagues who are not very confident in English, but still would like to do and get better in the language. And because for all the other courses in English, we do request a B2 level, more or less. So it's an upper intermediate level for the European framework. For this one, we request like A2, B1, so it's more accessible for, because we understand not everybody speaks English, and that could be an obstacle, both for getting fundings, to get something in your language, and also to actually do it. On this note, I have to say we had recently a French group who decided to do the training in English, and they were so scared. They were so scared, we won't understand, we won't be able, no. At the end, they were super happy because they got better during the week, and they got so much more confident also on their skills, and they got to express themselves also on some topics that are not so easy in a foreign language, that you don't really possess, like you're not super proficient in. And so this is why also we ask for a B2 level normally, so you're able to actually exchange and have that pedagogical, philosophical conversation, sometimes a reflection conversation. On that note, also I would like to say we are working on a video, a very short video done by our trainer in Barcelona, Isabella. It's going to be in English, and it's supposed to give you an idea of the level of English that you can that it's requested, and also on the kind of topics that you would find yourself talking about during our courses. And we will publish that soon, so let's wait for that. And the last thing that I wanted to say about Venice is this Singing in English course. This is quite brand new. My colleague Sarah is hardly working on that. My colleague, she's also a program coordinator, but she's based in Venice. So she's taking care more of this curricula, and she's a singer herself. So she developed this idea of using singing to improve English. Good. So for each of these courses, there are more details in our website, which I will share with you later on. And the last thing I wanted to show you very briefly, it's a schedule example, in this case for our course in Barcelona, Art School and the City. And this is the view schedule, but I want to highlight basically what is the course about, basically. What are you going to do specifically? So we do a visit of 3 museums, normally, Two are guided and one is of your choice, non-guided. And here we collaborate with MACMA Museum, which is the Contemporary Art Museum of Barcelona. They do host a permanent exhibition, but also many temporary ones. And the guided tour there, which together with the Tuesday guided tour will make the basis of our so-called treasure hunt. That means that in the very beginning of the week, you're going to be exposed some sort of passively to many inputs from the museums, from conference, from your facilitator. And based on that, based on what you feel more in line with, inspired by, you're going to develop and transition to a more active part during the second part of the week, where after a creative workshop with your facilitator, you're going to start working on a project idea that you would like to implement in your school. So we don't let you just have fun or this museum or so, but we really want you to go back home with a tool, practical tool to implement with your students directly. So some things are very practical. You can just basically reproduce them. But most important is you're going to be grouped together based on your interest, based in your objectives to work on a project. On Friday, we will close the week with apéro, a cocktail, and the certificate ceremony. And important not to forget that also Saturday is part of the course, and it's the not guided tour. The guided tour museum I was mentioning at the beginning, of your choice. There are many museums here in Barcelona. I will tell you once you're here what every single museum is about, so you can decide what is more interesting for you. And I'll mention here, as you see, our courses are 6 days. But in order not to miss out on something and also have some free time, because this is quite intense, I would suggest to arrive maybe on Sunday and then leaving Saturday afternoon, or maybe even Sunday the week after. As you see here, you're going to have a free afternoon. That's pretty fixed. And our participants actually are very happy to have a free afternoon and also explore more the city and have some reflection, individual reflection time. Yes, here I reported some feedbacks from our past participants. I won't go into depth on that, but I guess maybe I mentioned the one that one of our participants of this group of French teachers that I mentioned, she said, what surprised me is feeling again strong emotion through art. And that was very touching to see. I've heard of some participants sometimes crying also through the creative process that we're going through. So for sure, you're going to be emotionally involved as well during our courses. Good. So now I would like to go ahead with the Erasmus+. So I was saying at the beginning, our courses are certified by Erasmus. That means you get a Europass certificate at the end. And because of that, we are in line with Erasmus+ goals. And this is what you can expect out of these courses. So as we say, promoting teaching through art, then what you can do as well is, once you gather here together with your colleagues from other parts of Europe, then you create a community, right? You have an exchange of good practices from one country to another, but not only good practices, also simple knowledge on different school systems, for example. And then, as I mentioned now, the learning path for each of the 3 locations is focused on a different side, let's say, or approach to art, but it's very consistent for the 3 locations in the sense that the skeleton, as I said, is pretty solid on the basics. And then just to going through the connection of with Erasmus Plus, of course, because most of our participants come through Erasmus fundings, we want to make that also easier for you, because it's a lot of bureaucracy, we know, for us as well. So we offer you a very practical guide to maybe skip some steps, spare you some time, both with, for example, this kind of sessions, but also with a step-by-step guide that we created with some very practical tips on how to go and how to start with Erasmus. That step-by-step guide, if you don't have it already from our website, I will send it to you after this session, so you will all have it. Last thing I would like to mention on that is, of course, well, it's Erasmus Spirit. Maybe you have done Erasmus already, so you know what it is about, like encountering new and different people coming from other parts of Europe, but also from the world. And I mean, that's what we're offering, is a good opportunity to learn something abroad, to explore a city, to connect with colleagues from other side of Europe. So we really think that mobility is also a very crucial part of the training. So as I said, you will be in a very transnational group. So now that might be a bit boring for those of you who has accreditation already, but I will go quickly through the basics of Erasmus. You may have heard it, maybe for those of you who have no clue what it is. I guess Erasmus during university, like people going from a semester abroad, well, it's the same program because it's a huge program. It's the European Union program for education. And just to give you some numbers from this phase, which is 7 years long, the investing fundings are of 26 billions of euros. So we're talking about much money, and we really think this is an opportunity that we should really catch to go ahead with further develop and evolution, like getting some evolution in our schools, in our organizations. So what we talk about here, well, Erasmus covers different topics, all the topics about education. You see them here: from school, adult education, vocational education, training, youth, sport. And I put in bold what we are interested in right now with our training, and probably for you as teachers and educators. When we talk about schools, we include teachers, educators, school staff, and students, of course. I forgot to put students, but that's what we are talking about. Yes, so as I said, Erasmus is a huge program from 2021 to 2027. There are phases. There were 2 more before 21. There's going to be more after 27. What are the goals of Erasmus? What are the pillars? Like, what is the program intended for? To enhance inclusion, diversity, sustainability, and digitalization. So these are like 4 pillars, which are like the basics, the base of the project that you can apply for fundings. And great goals. And the question is, how do we get there? Like, how is it intended to implement these goals? By promoting and funding mobility abroad, cooperations across borders, countries, exchanges. So this is the action of Erasmus+. Let's go on mobility. Let's exchange with our colleagues from abroad, has to say. Who is part of Erasmus? As you might imagine, the 27 European members of the European Union, plus some so-called partner countries, which are Iceland, Liechtenstein, North Macedonia, Norway, Serbia, and Turkey. And exactly, so these are also part of the program. What we are interested in as teachers and educators in schools is the mobility for pupils and staff in school education. This is how it is called by Erasmus+. And what we include with that is both staff and learners. As I said before, I forgot to put students, and now it is here. Learners, group mobility, short-term and long-term learning mobility. This is something you can include in your Erasmus+ project for students. And what you include for teachers is the staff mobility. There are many types of action that you can do: courses and training, job shadowing, teaching assignments. What we do, as I explained before, are courses and trainings, which can go from 2 to 30 days. Our course of 60 days. So it falls into this big pot of training, staff training in mobility. All of this is nicely written in a very handy handbook of 400 pages. So because I don't think you're planning to read 400 pages, there's a link here with the Erasmus program guide in every language of the European Union. And I selected here the pages that you will need, only 14, from 99 to 113. So take note of that for the future. Okay, good. So what's the mobility for staff in schools is called Key Action 1, or KA1, learning mobility of individuals. So why individuals, when actually I have to note already now it is a bit misleading, because it's not for individuals, it's for actually organizations. So you don't apply for mobility as individual. I am a teacher, I'm going on mobility with Erasmus funding. No, it's a bit more structured than that. So you apply for mobility through your school or organization. And there is a process that I'm going to introduce you to now. But this is the naming, so how you find it in the program guide. And what you can do, there are two main grouping of actions that you will see. One is called short-term project and one is called accreditation. And let's start with short-term project. It's pretty self-explanatory, and it's 6 to 18 months of a pedagogical development plan, which will include a mobility. And this is basically a project that you can develop. You can say, I want my school to get better in this soft skills, or in these hard skills as well. And you plan how you're going to implement this in your school using a mobility. So you're going to look for hosting institutions that works on the topic that you're interested in, and you're going to be sent there, and this is going to be your mobility. Taking a very practical example, you want to use art in your pedagogy, you want to improve that, then you're gonna plan your mobility according to this topic. So for example, you come to us for 1 week in Barcelona, and then after 6 months, you also go to Amsterdam. So you do a follow-up, you pretty dig into the topic, and then you go to your colleagues, you go back to your colleagues, and you organize a conference, internal, to transfer the knowledge that you've acquired during the courses. So this is an idea of a short-term project. The next application deadline is the 4th of October of this year at 12. it's quite ahead now, seems to be quite ahead, but actually is not. And I think this is a perfect time to start thinking about the application, because it's not something that gets done in one day. And we know that in schools, sometimes there are maybe longer timing for approvals and meetings. So I think now it's the best time to really think about it and get to the 4th of October without those butterflies of anxiety and stress that you get before a deadline. And if you apply on the 4th of October, it's going to be maybe 2 months before you get an answer if your project gets the fundings, and you can start the project in 2024 from the 1st of January. So if you're new to that, you know it's going to be starting next year. The activities are going to start next year. And usually there are two deadlines every year. Once was in February, now there is the one in October. And it's pretty much always this every year. Differently from that, the accreditation, there is only once a year. The openings are only once a year. And it allows you to have a long-term plan for your school and to have more short-term projects during this time. And it's basically more thought for schools that have already some experience in mobility. And once you receive the accreditation, it's going to be valid till the end of the Erasmus Plus phase, till 2027. And the deadline is again in October, 19th of October. What it means to create a project. So basically your school wants to create a project including a mobility on a subject, on a topic where you want to see a development in your school. And if you're new to that, you can think about how do we want to increase the quality of teaching? How do we want to get more international and increase our contacts, our networking with other colleagues from Europe. Learn about new innovative tools. For example, you want to learn more strategies to use with your students. And then, of course, you think how to share new practices and transfer them in the classrooms. The various phases of project, very basic. So we have a planning phase where we define our goals, the activities that we want to implement, and we schedule them. Then we have a preparation phase for the activity. So we do all the practical arrangements, we select participants, we sign the agreements with our partners, with our hosting institution, and then we do implement our activities, and then we do a follow-up. So that's very important and sometimes is a bit left apart during the writing project phase. So how do you want to transfer your knowledge, what you've learned in mobility, to actually put that in practice? So how your outcomes will be disseminated, how they're going to be evaluated. Did we really reach the goal that we wanted at the beginning? And here I put a very simple example, just for you to understand what is the idea of that. For example, we say we apply for a project of 12 months duration of 20,000 euros because we want to send 10 people from the school staff in mobility. And then after that, we organize a conference and they transfer all the knowledge that they had received, they had experienced during the mobility. Now the budget is not in line with the European. I just put the numbers there just so you know. Actually, in the guidelines that I mentioned before, there are already, the budgeting is already set. And when you apply in the online form, you don't have to do any calculations. For those of you who are already like thinking budgeting, Excel's not my thing. that is made easier for you. And the theme, so the title could be, for example, developing pedagogical approaches through art and creativity to promote inclusion and communication. Just an example, maybe this is even too broad, but for you to have an idea. Last thing, you're not alone in that. There are so-called national agencies which are there to support you in that. There is one national agency in every European country, well, in every participating country to Erasmus+. What do? They provide any kind of information. They also do offer online webinars for free to understand better how it works, practical tips on how to write the project, how to look for partners. There are platforms where you can search for other schools that wants to work on the same topic to do the job shadowing, or receiving institution like us. This is the kind of information that you can get by your national agency. And so they support you, they support the applicants, and not only that, they also are the one that receive your application. So they're going to read them, evaluate them, and select. They're going to decide if it's worth it to give the funding to your project. And just to add on that, your school will be submitting the application directly to the national agency, and it could be in your national language, one of your national languages, or in English. And I put here a list of national agencies and where you find the official website and all the contacts you have for that. And so I wanted to just give you super small, brief introduction on how to get started on that, because it's really fast. There is a link here. You go on the account of the European Union, and you register your account as an individual. Me as teacher, I go there, I put my first name, last name, email, I get email verification, and my account is created. Once you are there, there is step 2, which is register the so-called OID number. OID number, called also PIC number, it's a unique code given to your educational institution, to your school by the European Union, so that you are like in the system as applicant for your funding. And this is mandatory, okay? That's really like the very basic on how to start with that. And important thing, because you register in the portal as individual, but you apply for OID as organization. So you're going to apply for the organization of your school. And if you don't know, if you have already an OID, you can check that. There's a screenshot here. This is the page of the European of the website, and you see here where is yellow. Check if my organization exists in the system. You put there the name, legal name of your school, search, and if it comes up, good, you have an OID number. You can skip step 2. If not, register a new organization. Also very fast. I calculated six minutes for that. And then the step 3, didn't put any minutes because we're not talking about minutes here, but a bit more time, is filling in the e-form. Everything is online, so there's no paper. We do recommend to maybe print the questions included in the form, but in the end you're going to submit everything online. And take attention at the beginning, because there are some codes related to the various actions that I told you before. So short-term project, we have KA122 for non-accredited schools, for new school, and 121 for accredited schools. And then 120 for the accreditation. And you will see that you look for the number and this SCH, which stands for school. Right. So how you can include us as a host organization is you put our legal name and our OID, because also we have an OID, and it's the ones they put here. We have the same OID for Barcelona and Venice, while for Amsterdam we have a slightly different one. But no worries, you don't have to take note of that now, because I'm going to share those series of numbers with you. And you are free to put this in the application. We are very happy to hear from you if you intend to do so, but also just put it. And then once it gets approved, you get in touch with us and we register officially for the course. Here are more details on our organization. I will, as I said, share everything with you later. And just to keep in mind, we are based in the Netherlands, so that's our legal site. And now, thank you for the attention. I hope I didn't annoy you or like bored you, and I hope you had some interesting insights. And now the stage is yours. I'm going to go through some questions, if there are, in the chats. Let me see here. So Hannah, you said you would like to write a project for accreditation in autumn. That's good news. Do you have experience already with the KA1, or are you going straight for accreditation?
Okay, can
If
I
you
tell
want
it? Because I don't want to write it. That's so long writing.
Oh yeah, please, of course. Let's
Can you
keep
hear
it in
me?
a dialogue. Yes.
Okay, so we had 2 projects from Erasmus Plus, just finished the second one 2 months ago. And now I would like to write a project for accreditation. And I would like to ask you, is it a big difference between application for project accreditation mobility and for short project mobility? What is the difference between this?
Yes. So the difference is that the short-term project is you choose between 6 and 18 months. So it's very limited in time. And so you are supposed to plan less activities. While in the accreditation, you sort of do a development plan from now to 2027. So generally, I would say it requires a bit more of time to think about it, and also resources. If you are a small school, at the first
we are a very big school, a lot of staff, a lot of pupils.
If you have, many people working on that and you already finished some projects, I think you'll be fine with accreditation application, because the questions are more or less the same. They just aim at a longer period of time, let's say. I also have to mention, I've never, I deal more with short-term projects, so I can tell you more on that. I know in general what the difference is. I wouldn't be able now to tell you specifically what the difference is. You can check that, maybe you know it already, on the European platform. There are some drafts of application. And you can download it from there. And you're going to see like a template, basically, with all the questions already. Even if now the openings, the openings now are they are open, but even if they are not, they always have these templates in the website. So you can check that to have an idea on what sort of questions you should work on.
Okay, thank you for answering my question.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Kat, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly.
Yeah, it's okay.
So you say, I am taking part in Erasmus Plus project, which ends in 2024, but I would like to write a project myself. I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. Yes. It seemed like you were away from the microphone or something like this.
Is it better now?
Oh yes, much better.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the hold. I would like to know if it is possible to write two projects at the same time, because our project now is ending in April 2024.
Yeah.
So is it possible to write a project for the accreditation this October?
Yes,
with
you can
ongoing
write
projects?
the accreditation project. Yes.
Okay.
As this is, as far as I know, sorry, where, I'm not sure, what is your national agency? Where are you based?
In Estonia.
In Estonia. Okay, I would anyway double check with them.
Mhm.
But as far as I know, you can apply for accreditation while you have an ongoing project.
Thank you.
But I would definitely address you to your national agency to double check.
Okay. Thank you for the answer.
Of course. Ivona said no accreditation yet, but experience maybe in other projects.
This is the first time we have tried to get grant of Erasmus Plus, so I will see in May. But I find it much easier while being accredited. Is that right?
Well, it is sort of easier because they, like, let's say they know you already, right? Because you applied already, they know your plan till 2027, and it is already like a good basics, you know, to say, okay, we're going to implement this project. So if you're accredited, there are like very high probability that your short-term project is going to be approved.
Yeah, so I'm going to try.
Good luck, and let's keep in touch.
Thank you very much.
I have here Mario Cruz. Sorry, I couldn't hear everything. Is music in any of your courses? No, it's not in any of our courses. It is in the Singing in English course in Venice. Yes, I would say so. We do have a group that is working on a project with music here in Barcelona. So we tried to include something for them to be able to get forward with their project. But in general, if you're looking specifically for that, I would suggest the course in Venice.
You want me to answer about music?
Yes, okay. So I said, Sarah is there.
Hi, sorry, I just came in. I'm in Venice. I do the same work as Francesca, but in Venice. So we host teachers from all over Europe, and we do have a series of different topics. In ECA, our specialty is visual art. We work with Biennale in Venice and many museums in Barcelona and Amsterdam. But from next October, we will start with music. And we are very curious also of your projects about mobilities on music, because it's very rare. For the moment, methodologies are quite similar in other trainings to the, let's say, normal trainings, but we are thinking about something a little bit more experimental for the moment. If you want, I can say a word about it, but maybe the best would be if you write to Francesca about what you what you want to do with music. Our mobilities are always 6 day long. In Venice, we have partnership with the Conservatory of Music. And for the moment, we are focusing on choir for kids. So how to make kids be more at their ease when they sing together. That's our topic for the moment. That's what I said.
Thank you, Sarah. So you have the insight from the creator. I think we have Andrea is asking, we have the accreditation and applied for money starting this June. Is it possible to take a part in a course this summer already? Yes. Yes, it is possible, because if you applied in February, the mobility are starting the 1st of June. So you can do this summer already. And maybe on that, something I can mention, actually important, is the schedule of our courses. We try to adapt as much as we can to the school calendar. But because with English, we have people from all over Europe, it's a bit challenging. But still, there are some periods during the year where most of the countries have holidays. And this is in February, in April, in July, and in October, November. So these are the periods where we have most of our courses. We do have a minimum of 12 and a maximum of 20 participants per course. And if you are interested in other dates than what we have published in each of the courses in our website, you can definitely reach out, and we are happy to adapt to your needs if we have a minimum amount of teachers. Okay, so I hope I answered your question, Andrea. Hannah, how long is the music mobility? I think Sarah already answered you, so 1 week. And Emmanuel, hi. He says, I'm having difficulties with my connection. Is it possible to send me the presentation? Definitely, yes. I will share with you. As I said at the beginning, the session is recorded, so you will get the YouTube link to go back to that, and also the step-by-step guide that I mentioned, and all the links that I shared with you now. You're going to receive an email over the next days with everything. Good. Is there any other question? Because we are having a last session in French starting in 3 minutes. So you are free to stay. Maybe some other questions will come up there that you might be interested in. Otherwise, I will let Sarah take over. I thank you very much for your attention. In my presentation, there are all my details, and I will write now here quickly my email so that you have it. Feel free to email me, also WhatsApp me, and I'm here, and I'm hoping to make your mobility come true. So thank you very much. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening too.
Thank you very much.